The 2023 Nigeria presidential election is beginning to heat up, with politicians declaring their ambitions. In a recent development, Governor of Ebonyi, Umahi, says he has informed President Muhammadu Buhari of his intention to contest the presidency in the 2023 general election. Umahi's announcement was made public after Bola Tinubu, a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, informed Buhari of his intention to contest the presidency in 2023. Umahi, whose defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress, the APC, was anchored on getting the presidential ticket of the party for the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria, hinted that he's not perturbed by Tinubu's entry into the presidential race and that President Muhammadu Buhari has told him to consult widely. Joining us now for more insight into the 2023 presidential election and the ambition of Southeasterners is His Excellency Umahi, Governor of Ebonyi State. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, please. Let me correct the impression that the media has been misquoting me. I didn't say Mr. President said to me personally to consult widely. I said that Mr. President told me that whoever that wants to contest for the seat must have to consult widely, which means that he was talking to all those who have declared and those who also intend to declare. So it's important to make that very clear.
Well, in any case, it's given that whoever wants to be president of Nigeria must consult widely because you need the people's votes.
Yes.
Yeah, but the question to ask is this. When you left the PDP in 2020, you said you were leaving because there was too much injustice in the PDP. Have you now found justice in the APC? And why do you want to be president?
Can we take it one by one?
Yes.
Injustice in PDP. I didn't say the injustice in PDP was injustice meted against me as a person. I was talking about the commitment of the Southeast people in PDP from the inception of PDP and the roles, played by our leaders in the formation of PDP. And I felt that the PDP as a party should be fair to Southeast as a people by allowing them from the time PDP was formed, to date, a chance, to be treated fairly like other regions by, offering them or allowing them to fly the ticket of the party. And it was more like an unwritten agreement, for 2023. But when I couldn't see the signs and I inquired, I couldn't also see the signs. So I left PDP in protest. And I'm happy that those of our brothers that are still in PDP are, saying exactly what I said, even though they all joined to castigate me at the time I left. But that's life and politics for you.
Yeah, there was a second leg to that. Have you found justice in the APC, and why do you want to be president?
Let me answer the second question. I want to be president as a Nigerian who has got the right, like other Nigerians, to contest for the seat. Have I found justice in APC? I've found peace in APC. But the position in terms of, unfair treatment in PDP is not the same thing with APC. If you analyze it very well, I have said that judging from the sacrifices people made, in the affairs of PDP. And so if you keep it side by side with our involvement in APC, that question will not be there if you got my reasons and, positions very well.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Now, was your visit to President Buhari specifically to discuss your presidential bid?
No, that was even the list of, what I went for.
Right.
There were so many other things, like I said in there's security situation in Southeast, invitation of Mr. President to our state, or rather re-invitation, because he had given approval, last year, but I appealed to him to shift it to this year, first quarter, and he graciously granted me that. We discussed that. So I think these are the two key issues, and then this third one of presidential ambition.
Right, that's a point worth clarifying. My second question for you is about zoning. APC has yet to come to a decision on the issue of zoning. Obviously, it's in your best interest for it to be zoned to the south or the southeast, but would you feel any sense of umbrage if it is not zoned to the south or the southeast, seeing as this is why you decamped from your previous party, like you just said?
I think we continue to put issues the way they are not. I didn't decamp from PDP to fly the ticket of APC. Because if like I said before, if you understood it very well, then some of this question will not be. On the issue of zoning, I'm still a new person in APC, and whatever thing I get in terms of my desire, I will consider as favors from God and favors from the leaders of the party. I will not feel any sense of injustice, as an APC member or for joining APC and it's not zoned to our side. But looking at it, generally about the sentiments being expressed by all the sections of, the society, and to move the nation forward and for absolute, unity and peace, it is important that, equity, fairness, and justice, should come to be. To enable this nation move forward. And nobody is saying if you don't zone it to southeast, the nation will not move forward. But I think that if a nation is built on fairness, equity, and justice, then there is sure going to be progress and prosperity. So you can understand that I'm new in the house, and so whatever that happens, in line with my desire of Southeast, for me personally, is a favor.
Well, I didn't suggest, even remotely, that you left the PDP to fly the presidential ticket for the APC. I never said that. Okay.
Okay. You've been governor for quite a while.
Thank you.
Can you hear me, Engineer Dave Umahi?
Yes.
You've been governor for quite a while. And that's the only thing in the national space a lot of people know you for. Can you campaign based on your record in Ebonyi State and say that's a basis for you to be president? How have you run the state? Would you say you've done a good job in running the state? Secondly, you have
definitely. Definitely. He that is faithful in a little.
Okay. I had another question to add to it. Okay. So secondly,
let me get
answer one. Get that one first.
Yes. Yeah. He that is faithful in a little, will also be faithful in a big one. And don't forget that the state, is a federating unit of the, federal government. And a state is the microcosm of the macrocosm of the federal government. So how did I run the state? It is not good for a man to blow his trumpet, but it is important, if you don't have your agents in Ebonyi State, you can ask around what God has done in Ebonyi State. I don't lay claims to having done all those things. For me, they are miracles, because how the project came to be, conceived, executed, the best of it, very unique in a number of ways, can only be God. So don't forget that by the definition of who is a politician and the context of Nigeria, I won't say I'm one. I'm rather, was a businessman before I ventured into this assignment. And I have, I ran my businesses very successfully. And when I was coming over as, deputy governor, I declared my assets, and my exploits, my various businesses are there and properly filed in the code of conduct. So I can say that in my only true way and my capacity, I ran my businesses very well and very successfully. And from there, I became party chairman. And of course, backwards in my school days, I also played politics as the senator of the Faculty of Engineering. And then I was a caretaker committee chairman of PDP, and then elected as the substantive chairman of PDP, elected as deputy governor, and then governor for 6 years plus now. If there are not enough credentials, and judging from what God has used us to do in Ebonyi State, then it means that experience, in quote, is to be purchased.
Okay, so I deliberately asked how well have you run your state, because Ebonyi State has been inundated with insecurity, killings in different communities, and also the case of some engineers from Nearland Construction. Those are issues on ground in Ebonyi State. What's going to be your reaction to the engineers missing from Nearland Construction and the insecurity in your state? Those are part of your records in the state.
I thought that Arise would apologize to us for that damning interview that you granted to, mischief makers with regard to this Nearland missing engineers, because you completely darkened counsel without knowledge. And, we just left it there. In the first place, you acted as if Nearland Construction, signed a contract with African Development Bank. We are the employer of Nearland Construction Company. And I did a meeting with all the contractors and consultants, and that's not the only consultant we have on that project. This 199-kilometer route, sectioned into two sectors, and they are just doing one. And the other one is being done by a consultant called Plan. And so the agreement was that before you get to site, and don't forget that this section, that where this thing happened, or Huku local government, that a section of it is been in crisis since January 2020 over land issue. And this land issue has been there for the past 100 years. And there is no government of Ebonyi State that the crisis did not erupt, during their tenures, So my position was that I was going to be appealing to the Chief of Army Staff, appealing to the IGP, and those things were set in motion so that we could have special, security over that place. And as the Governor and Chief Security Officer, I directed that nobody goes to any of the sections without having 3 levels of security. First is that the people, the stakeholders, the community leaders must sign an undertaking and swear affidavit to protect the workers and the consultant and equipment. And second one is the police. And the third one is where necessary to appeal if army could be drafted. It's just to make like an overkill, to be sure that, the workers will work in confidence. Now, this particular section is a section where the crisis has been there. And this particular section of African Development Bank, we had not even rolled out. And so we were told that one day the contractor called the consultant and said, look, we need to go to site. And that's very unethical because we have special implementation unit, of representative of the state government. And if they were to take side decisions, the government representative should have been there. So they agreed on their own to go. And then the contractor made arrangement for security. But the consultant came and bypassed him. And by the way, it's only that Nearland principal partner that's listed in our contract. The other 5 engineers, I assume that they were his personal staff. And so that is what happened. And so from security account, of what happened, and it is very wrong for you to say that if this thing happened, it is inefficiency of the chief executive. That is being biased, because security is the job of everybody. And you don't expect a governor to be a spirit and be everywhere.
Well, Governor.
So, and that is what happened. There are certain things that you cannot, change. So I'm not too happy with that interview, but I left it there. So this is the account of what happened.
Well, Governor Umahi, it's good you use the phrase Chief Security Officer and efforts that you made in terms of security arrangements in this regard. But my question to you will be, what are your thoughts on state police, which the presidency is not an option?
Oh, sure. I support state police. I support state police, but it has to be regulated. And why I say it has to be regulated is that, for example, if 2 states that are sharing a common boundary. They belong to two different political parties. And, you have a situation in which, let's say the officials of government from one state is moving to the other. They could be intercepted by the state police of the other one. So because the way we play politics in this country is quite very sad. We talk about opposition, and then the real opposition is not doing the opposition of work. It's all bitter dishing of, a very much, harbored, hatred. So these are the issues that will be militating against the police. So we desire state police, but it has to be crafted so that there are limits, and so where your powers get to, my own could start. And this is very important. And state police must also be under the control of the federal police.
Right. I have two questions for you, sir. So you and Pius Anyim are running for president from the same state and the same district. How will that play out?
I don't discuss people. Everybody is running the destiny of his or her life, and it is God's will that we come to be. Power belongs to God. So there's no conflict here.
Okay, maybe you discuss statistics, because according to the Q4 2020 statistics from the Bureau of Statistics, Ebonyi State's working age population of 1.7 million people has an unemployment rate of 40.16%, underemployment rate of 21.98%, making a combined 62.14%. With Nigeria's economy in the dire straits in which we find ourselves, what would be your plan as a presidential candidate, given the current stats from your state?
Those statistics, I do not believe them very well. But recent statistics, about our state, which you can go and check, like the sustainability index, by the Federal Statistics Bureau, a lot of, indexes come up now, transparency index and so on and so forth, and, unemployment rating. You find out that our state is among the 5 states in Nigeria with the least unemployment problems. So, but coming at the federal level, there are a lot of problems that are, working against our economy. First is corruption. Corruption, unpatriotic acts, amongst allies and leaders, and even delayed. These are all the combination, against our economy. For example, you talk about, the controversial, removal of fuel subsidy. The average Nigerian does not know that it's in their interest that this fuel subsidy is removed, and do welcome the palliatives as proposed by the federal government. But you see, in this country, you say you are opposition, so your work is just to push. There is no analytical, approach to issues to know, if this thing is going to benefit the common man. So if we, talk about the indexes without dealing with the fundamental problem, that would be an issue. And again, there must be a policy whereby our people will begin to work. The turnout about our workforce is very low compared to what is happening in China, where everybody is working. And so our economy is not going to grow if we don't put all these indices together and begin to deal with it.
Governor Dave Umahi, if it's been very difficult for you to create jobs in your states, then how would you turn around close to 33% unemployment rate in Nigeria? And secondly, how would you reduce the budget deficit in Nigeria?
When you say, about unemployment in my state, it means you are not in this program with us, because I've dealt with that matter, and I have said to you that my state is among the 5th in terms of rating, in terms of sustainability, and the lowest unemployment rate. And if you controvert that, you should tell me. But if you did not, then you should leave that question to be. The next question you said about the budget deficit, I think I've answered it. The nation, Nigeria, the people of this country, we must be able to sit down together, You see, people can tackle governors, the president. It's not just about the president, it's not about the governors. It's about every one of us. And so there are fundamental issues that must be tackled, before we begin to talk about how to grow the economy, how to, bring down the deficit budgeting, how to bring down the borrowings. If Mr. President has good intention and borrows money, and the money is stolen, the intention is aborted. And so what do you do? So it's the job of everybody. We just isolate this thing and begin to talk, that, unemployment this, the budget deficit, borrowing this. It is the job of everybody, The moment we can deal, in all honesty, with corruption, the moment we can strengthen our institution, the institution of the judiciary, the institution of the National Assembly, the institution of the security agencies, all these things, they all, impact positively or negatively in the total economy, of the country and the well-being of the people. So you can't isolate any of these things without sitting down to deal with the issues.
Well, Governor Umahi, it's not enough to say, well, I'm interested in becoming president of Nigeria. The question is, what should Nigerians expect from a Dave Umahi presidency in case that happens? What are your major priorities that you think will move Nigeria forward?
The major priorities that will move this country forward is to sit down with all the leaders of all the regions, to sit down with all the leaders of the various institutions, of our polity, and to begin to discuss. And the simple question is, do we agree to move this country forward? This country cannot continue the way it is, and you expect the youths to fold their hands. It's, for me, a keg of gunpowder. And it has nothing to do with who is the president and who is not the president. So the patriotism must be on the first agenda of my intention. The second one, is how to unite this country. And the unity of this country is very important. If everybody knows that we are in the same ship, and if the ship capsizes, that we all go down. And so we begin to note that. And then to discuss about how to grow the economy. And I think that with God's grace and his knowledge, and with my business background, of course, professional background, and working with the leaders and working with God, I think these things are very possible. I'm at peace with them.
Well, thank you very much, Governor Dave Umahi, for joining us.